Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Everyday Fans podcast. We're going to try to make this a quick episode today, um, as I want to make sure I'm getting stuff up on Tuesdays and Fridays, more review stuff on Tuesdays, big picture, what's happened, and Fridays is just more of a look ahead into the weekend matchups coming up. First and foremost, thank everybody that's been watching. Thank you to all the subscribers. Hopefully, y'all can that are watching that are not subscribed will consider subscribing. It'll help grow the channel. We're not going to take too much time today, so this format will kind of change week to week to just see what I kind of like, what you guys like. This week, I'm going to look at some power rankings. I have 3 different sites pulled up, but the best one I feel like align with more with what I think about the league as a whole, the Athletic. And I'll just kind of go through the top 10 and name the teams, and then we'll kind of get into a little bit in each one of them. They have number one as the Green Bay Packers. They're 2-0 here going into week 3, and they look good. You know, obviously the big news is the Micah Parsons trade from Dallas, and which has helped bolster that defense very much so. Arguably one of the better defenses I've seen this year so far in the first couple of weeks of the season. Offensively, they haven't had any type of explosion type of games, but they're scoring enough to win. They're consistent. You know, they're methodical in the way they do. They're not really a fast team, but Jordan Love has been pretty pinpoint accurate and able to get the job done. So I'm not going to argue with number one. I might not have had him at number one myself. Looking over at NFL.com. I'm sorry, not NFL, ESPN. They have the Bills as the number one team. I probably would put the Bills there just because I think they face one of the teams that I think is better in Baltimore. I guess Detroit and Washington were playoff teams last year, but Green Bay's right up there at the top. It's hard to say. They're probably right there at the top of the NFC with the Eagles. So no hate here from a Bears fan. As you can see, Green Bay's look very well put together this year. So we'll see what they can continue to do. And they have the Browns coming up this week. Number 2 on the Athletic, they have the Eagles. They're just finding ways to win. Nothing pretty. I think their defense is not nearly as good this year, but they've been able to hold teams kind of down. It just doesn't look as good to me. I don't know how that sounds, but it doesn't seem as dominant as it was last year um, in terms of getting after the quarterback and some stuff like that. Boring type of football, but they're winning games. They're 2-0, so nothing much to say there. Defending champs beat the Chiefs. They have the Rams on Sunday, so big time matchup there. Big time matchup versus the Rams. I'm assuming this is a road game because it just says versus. So, yeah, big time game for them this week. Buffalo is number 3 on this list. Again, this is the Athletic Sports rankings. Buffalo is 2-0, beating the Jets. Beat down on the Jets last week. I said on the show Friday, which, I mean, Jesus Christ, the Jets looked horrible, but they were not able to run the ball against this defense that is undersized, and I thought they would be able to run the ball more with Justin Fields. He did go out with a concussion. Breece Hall wasn't able to really move the ball that effectively, so the Bills just dominated them. They actually ran the ball all over the Jets, so no argument with the Bills there at number 3, 2-0. Look good. They have the Dolphins first game to kick off week 3 on Thursday night, which I expect them to handle business there. Dolphins look pretty bad. Number 4, this team here, man, they look very good. Justin Herbert looks like the best quarterback in the NFL to me right now. That's just what my eyes are telling me. Josh Allen is right there too, but he didn't have the numbers in week 2. And, I mean, Herbert didn't have gaudy numbers last night, but he just looks in control of the offense. Playmakers are making plays for him now. Quentin Johnston finally coming along. So really excited about this Chargers teams. They have the Broncos divisional matchup here this week. Broncos did end up losing to Indy, which we'll kind of highlight them because we'll just look at the top 10 here a little bit. Um, so big game for them this week. Um, let's see. Yeah, nothing much. Their defense. Their defense has been playing pretty good. Played Geno pretty well last night. Got some takeaways against a veteran quarterback. They look very big up front, big and physical. Type of team Jim Harbaugh wants to put out there on the field. So, love the Chargers here at 4. Number 5 is Baltimore. Baltimore, they dropped the game, opening game. Could have easily been 2-0 here and maybe flop with the Bills, but they did lose that game. They beat up on the Browns this past week. Thought that game might have been a little bit closer too, but overreaction here on this site. It says this team will set an NFL points record. So 41. And what did they score? 40 against the Bills? Where they lose 41-40. So 80 points within the first couple of games. I personally would have Baltimore ranked a little higher. I just feel like they have the team. They've been there. They'll be there in the end. These are just rankings. These are just kind of overview numbers to see where the league is as a whole. Detroit. Oh, excuse me. Let me back up. Baltimore. So these next two teams play each other. I think this is a Monday. Yeah, this is a Monday night game. Detroit goes to Baltimore. And Detroit is our number 6 team. They beat down on my Chicago Bears this past week. It was embarrassing. And they look like the Detroit Lions that have been playing the last few years here. They did not look like the same team that played Green Bay. Maybe they weren't prepared, which I find it hard to believe from a Dan Campbell led team. But I don't mind this ranking. They came out. They showed that they still are very capable of competing in the NFC. Jared Goff looked good. 5 touchdowns from him. 52 points. Whenever you can score 52 points on any defense, no matter if it's the worst in the NFL or the best, you're doing something right. So Detroit's offense looks good even without being this past week. So don't mind their rankings here, but this will be a real good litmus test. Lose to Green Bay. Didn't look very good. Dominate Chicago. Looked unstoppable. So I would think they land somewhere in the middle on that. They're not going to put up 52 points on this Baltimore defense, even though one of their weaknesses is their secondary. But I do think this will be a very good game to wrap up week 3. This one I'll be kind of looking forward to in this week coming up. And we'll get into that more on Friday. Let's see here. The Rams at 2-0, sitting at number 7. They beat the Titans. They also beat Houston. So both teams are 0-2, so not really sure how to feel about the Rams. They do have championship DNA as they won the Super Bowl a few years ago. Still have Stafford there. Brought in Devontae Adams. This defense is very young. Has settled very nicely after losing Aaron Donald a few years ago. I didn't know how that was going to go, but drafted some young guys, and they've come in and stepped right in and played well for these guys. So don't mind the Rams here at 7. They play at the Eagles. So yeah, they play at the Eagles this week at that's a noon kick. So that'll be a pretty good game for the noon slate there. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. Baker Mayfield. This guy's getting it done, man. It's not always pretty for Tampa, but they'll have some games where they explode. Not maybe to the style that Detroit did with 52 points against the Bears here last week, but once they get healthy, they have some offensive line injuries. They have some defensive line injuries as well. So once they get some guys healthy later in the season, I fully expect this team to be able to compete. They're my favorite to win that division down in the South. Atlanta, I think they're getting there, but as they showed, they dropped the game week 1 against Tampa at home. I think it's just going to be a little tougher for them to catch them with Tampa Bay going on the road last night, also on a Monday night, and coming up with a big win, led by Baker in the final minutes driving down the field to get a touchdown there to beat Houston at home. So like to rank it for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. I may have them slightly ahead of the Rams, but I get it. They're pretty even, 7-8 here. That's no big issues there. They played the Jets, so a little bit of maybe a softer spot, especially if Fields can't go. Even though Tyrod Taylor, who was the backup for the Jets, um, veteran quarterback, so he should be able to step in and play some good football for them. San Francisco 49ers, they have them at 9. They are 2-0. They beat the Saints, and they beat, who did they play with? Oh, Seattle, which was a good win. But with the injuries, let's see if they can sustain it. I'm not going to say that they can't. They're a championship caliber program, organization that ran very well, but with your quarterback out, um, let's see, because the Saints are arguably the worst team in the league. So they win by 5 points on the road last week. So big win for them with starters down. But I don't know. I don't know if it's sustainable for them to stay in this kind of top 10. I don't mind it for now. I wouldn't have them top 10, but the Athletic does. So we'll keep it there. They played the Cardinals this week, so divisional game. Looks like that's at home. So tough test because the Cardinals are lower in the rankings, but because they maybe not have looked as good, but we'll see. Somebody will be getting a loss this week. I mean, obviously you could get a tie in the NFL, but hopefully that does not happen. That actually almost happened in the Giants and Cowboys game this past Sunday, but it did not. So yeah, Cardinals at the 49ers this week. We'll see how that game goes. The Cardinals, if they want to really compete in this division, this is a game I think they need to win, especially with a banged up 49ers team. Number 10, man, this team has looked very good. I don't know if they're flying on the under the radar to me on a national stage, but for an everyday fan like me, they're not flying under the radar at all. The Indianapolis Colts, man, Daniel Jones, it's kind of reminded me. I don't want to compare him to Baker, but I want to put him in a kind of the same category as like a Baker Mayfield, a Sam Darnold, guys that are not with their original teams. It didn't really work out with those original teams, and has bounced around maybe a stop or two since that original team, and now has stepped in with a new team and is able to look pretty good. Win by 1 at home last week over a very good Broncos defense. Very efficient quarterback so far this year. Maybe one of the more efficient ones. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but I can just tell you he's been very efficient with the football and getting it to his playmakers. Jonathan Taylor, 165 yards on 25 carries against that defense after just having 71 yards in week 1. This team is looking to go, and that division is, I mean, it was wide open to begin the year, but Houston's 0-2 now, right? Houston's 0-2. Jacksonville, first year coach in a new program, a lot of young players. So this is a division that Indianapolis can absolutely win, and they have the Titans this week. They go to the Titans this week, so opportunity to go 3-0 against a team that is arguably one of the weaker ones in the entire league, not just that division, but a chance to get a divisional win on the road. Big spot for Indy this week in terms of, kind of, I don't want to say putting a stronghold on the division, but staking an early claim to obviously winning that. I'll stop there in terms of rankings. I'll just kind of highlight some other teams. Chiefs 13th. They're 0-2. It just, they don't look good. They don't look good. They got a lot of injuries. They have the Giants Sunday Night Football, so I would expect them to get a win this week, but they are on the road. And the Giants put up some points last week. This Chiefs defense is usually one that's pretty good, but thus far they haven't won. So we'll see. 2 0-2 teams. Somebody should come out of there victorious. What else? Denver is 14th. I don't agree with that. I think they should be ranked a little bit higher than the Chiefs. They lost a tough game to the Colts this past week, who's 2-0. So Personally, I will have them ranked a little bit higher. Seattle's another team that lost to at home to a tough 49ers team. I They did go on the road and beat the Steelers this week. I'm not sure what to think about that. I think the Steelers maybe are just not as good as we maybe think. They struggled to beat the Jets in week 1, so um, they're definitely lower in the rankings. But Seattle's a team that I think that NFC West is going to be a tough division to win. So they might beat up on each other and just whoever wins the most games in the divisional games will probably end up being a winner there. Let's see, one other team, any other teams? Okay, so Arizona's down here at 18th on their list, 2-0, with an opportunity to move up. I mentioned them against San Francisco this week. The Jags, with Burrow out, to me, I think you got to win that game if you're trying to seriously contend for the postseason. Although this wasn't a divisional game, so I'm not super high on them. Let's see how they bounce back this week. They have the Texans, who is 0-2, and this is also a divisional game. So uh, let's see, let's see. And they have a note on here: overreaction. Liam Cohen is the real Ben Johnson. I don't know whose article this is. I could probably scroll up to the top and find out, but let's calm down with that overreaction. Ben Johnson, we're just fine. Let's not worry about the Bears. And speaking of the Bears, they're weighted down here at 25 on this list, which to me is acceptable. They haven't looked good. Obviously, was dominated this week, and they have the opportunity to get their first win, coming back home against Dallas, who has not looked very good defensively either. So this game could have some scoring in it, just as the game last week against Detroit did. Just hopefully the game is a little tighter than 52-21. So the Bears have an opportunity. The Cowboys are ranked 21st in this ranking. Um, I mean, they've looked good. I think Dax looked pretty good, pretty solid, coming back from the injury. But again, their defense is, blah. I mean, their running game, Javonte Williams looks a little bit better than he has the last few years. So we'll see. But those are the rankings. Just real quick before we close it out, because I did want to keep this at a shorter show today. Um, Overall, in week 2, the scoring was way up. I think on average, I saw a stat about 52 points per game was like the average, or something close to that number. But whatever the number was, it was the second highest ranking Sunday in NFL history. Another Sunday, it was like a 1960s game way back in the day, way before my time. So looking at that tells me that offenses maybe are not as far behind as maybe we thought. We don't really know because it's still just week 2. It's something to keep an eye on this week. A lot of the totals still in the 45 to uh, 46, 47 range. I think the Bears game total was like 49 and a half. From what I saw, and I just glanced at it, I think that was like one of the higher ones on the slate for the weekend. But like I mentioned, both defenses are bad, so um, we'll see what happens. I think there is opportunity for some of these teams to get off the snide. Obviously, some teams that are 0-2 to get their first win, especially in that Chiefs and Giants game on Sunday night. But that'll do it for this episode. I did just want to get something out quick. But I these aren't my rankings. If I had to rank real quick, I'll just go through and kind of give you my power ratings, top 10. I won't go in depth in terms of anything that I pretty much just highlighted everything. But number one, I would have the Buffalo Bills at the top. I think they beat one of the other teams that I think is right there at the top, and the Baltimore Ravens. So I would have Buffalo at 1. I would have Baltimore at 2. I would have the Green Bay Packers at 3. I'm sorry, I would have the Philadelphia Eagles at 3, and I would have the Green Bay Packers at 4. I would have the Los Angeles Chargers at 5. I would have the one second. will have the Los Angeles Rams at 6. No, actually, I will keep Detroit at 6. I'm sorry. I will keep Detroit at 6. The Rams at 7. I would put. Sorry, scrolling here. I would put the Indianapolis Colts at 8. I think they had a big win against I think a team that's going to be pretty good in the Denver Broncos. I would have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 9, and I would have the Denver Broncos at. No, I wouldn't. I would have the Washington Commanders, even though they look bad against Green Bay. I would have the Washington Commanders at 10, with the Denver Broncos just under that. I'm leaving Cincinnati lower. I know they're 2-0, but Burrow is out for 3 months, and I just don't think they'll be able to compete with the backup long term. Maybe I'm wrong, but Cincinnati would probably be in that 10 spot if Burrow wasn't hurt. So that'll be it for this Tuesday show. I did just want to get something out quick. Hopefully it doesn't sound rushed or anything, but let me know what y'all think. Again, any tips on format, any tips on anything you want to see, talk about, email, comment, whatever you want to do. And I'll see you guys on Friday. Peace. Thank you.